morning, everybody. Good morning, friends. Good morning, lovely people from different parts of the world. Good morning, um, wherever you are. Well, it's morning here, I guess, in different parts of the world. In some places, it's still night. Hi, June. Hello, how are you doing? It's a pleasure to see you here. How how are things going? Um, I think I'll give you a surprise soon. Okay. So it's a pleasure having you here. All our friends. Hello, sister. Hello, sister. Jinwi, how are you doing? It's a pleasure to see you here also on the platform. Regards to you, regards to your family. Great, 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 great. Yes, it's going to be exciting today. Um, Last week we began talking about life is a gift. Life is a gift. And we, of course, looked at what a gift is about. And we had the understanding that a gift is something that is willingly given to someone without expecting a reward, without expecting payment for it. All right. And that is something that is really, really mind blowing. Actually, if you understand it all around you, right from childhood, several people have been giving you gifts. In fact, before you knew it, when you were born, I'm sure lots of people rally around your family, as it is in most cultures. They give gifts to the newborn baby. All right, and that is you know that is something to know that gift is something that is popular. It's something that is known. Something usually happens. All right, I give gifts, you give gifts, everybody give gifts. Gift is something that is known. But when we say life is a gift, that is what considering. That is what thinking about. And we understood last week that life being a gift is, talks about, the life that we live being given to us by a higher source. And that source, of course, is God. All right. And we came to the understanding that we we don't pay for this life. We are just born into it. We realize it, that we are living. We find ourselves in a home, in a family, and it has been what we have known. But when we say life is a gift, what is the understanding behind it? How relevant is it? How viable? How practical is it? What does that tell us? What is the meaning of that? Hi, everybody. If you are joining us today, I welcome you to the platform. This is our Saturday live broadcast. Hi, Rukundo Sheila. It's a pleasure to see you here. Hello, Mrs. Nuhu Feintola Stella. It's a pleasure also meeting you and seeing you here on the platform. We have been having a series of talking about life in general. My wife and I have been, trying to, look at it from different angles, and I know soon we shall be inviting our friends also, to talk about the same matter. Probably we can make it open to the general, so that everybody can, to the public, everybody can make a comment. They can ask questions. We can, rub shoulders together and create ideas. Hello, Adar. Thank you for joining us. Daniel Obala. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's a pleasure having you all here on the platform. One of the beautiful things that we learned on how to treat life last week is the fact that we have to take care of life. Life is given to us, you know, as a gift. I know that many of us do not value some of the gifts that we have received. I also, at some point in time, I did not value some of the gifts I was given, probably because it was not useful or it was not something I needed at a particular time. But nevertheless, the life that you live must be taken care of. We talked about living a healthy lifestyle, living consciously, living a life that, that we watch what we eat, we watch how we take care of ourselves, our emotions, our relationships, everything that affects us in general. So we take care of ourselves, we take care of those things that affect us. All right, that's what life is all about. We also talk about life, that how to take care of life. Yeah, we have to take care of life with gratitude, right? Meaning that we have to take care of life. We have to live a thankful life. We have to live appreciating the life that we have, what we have. Actually, we don't know the value of what we have until we lose it. So life is something that must be shown with gratitude. We, you know, and it 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 reflects in everything that we do, wherever we go, whatever we are doing. It affects our mood. When we live with gratitude, we emit this positive energy that people want to associate with. And I told us last week that, would you rather um, employ someone who is moody, someone who is who is carrying a frowny face everywhere he or she is going, or rather will you employ someone you know who is going around with joy, and things like that. Nobody wants to associate with yeah, the person will be serious minded, all right, but at least the person should carry a joyful character. That is the kind of character we want to go about with, and that is what life is all about. Regardless of the challenges that we go through, regardless of the pains, the troubles that we go through, regardless of the hiccups here and there, we should still be thankful. Even the Holy Book, the Bible, says that we should live thankfully. In all things, give thanks. In all things, give thanks. Whether we are going through the fire, through the storms, through the whatever challenges that we are going through, we should still pass through it with thanksgiving. And the US also celebrated Thanksgiving. I'm sure they were emitting positive energy here and there. That is the kind of mood everybody wants to be in. All right, great. All right, today we are going to the part 2 of Life is a Gift. Hi, Prince Haika. Thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure meeting you, and I hope that we shall share together knowledge and wisdom as well. Please, it's always a pleasure seeing people make comments. We want to know what you are thinking. We want to know if what we are dishing out is profitable to you, if it is worth thinking about, if it is something that is impacting your life. How impactful is this thing that we are giving out to you? That is what we are considering. So please, we will know by your participation. We will know by your interaction. We know when you ask questions, and when these are things that that we are concerned about. And also, we know you don't want to keep all this knowledge, all this understanding, all this information to yourself. Please share to your friends, share to the world out there. You don't know someone who is about to give up on life, who might just stumble on this live broadcast and then have a rethink, and he or she may be saved. That's the reason why we are doing all this. Thank you, Sister Chinwe. I respect you so much. She's saying we all love to associate with people with positive energy that are appreciative in little things. It breeds love, joy, and happiness. Thank you very much, ma. Okay. I thank God for life. Thank God for a bright, brand new day. I thank God for the fact that I can come before you today. It's a precious gift. I could have been held back, but I'm here today. That's something to thank God for. When we say life is a gift, we understand it in different ways. In fact, every gift is primarily for one single purpose, which is for every man to take charge of the affairs of this earth. I would like to rephrase. Every gift that comes into this world. So you see, when a child is born, we are rejoicing. We celebrate. We are full of life. Everybody is dancing, everybody is, rejoicing. In some cultures, they are buying new clothes. In some cultures, food will begin to come into the house from left and right. Why? They are celebrating the birth of a new gift. Life. A new gift. All right? When a child is born into a home, for example, they know the child is an addition to the family. It's a plus, not a minus. So they rejoice. It's a gift. The husband of the home, the one who is the father, my God, his heart is filled with joy because he knows that something great has happened to him. Number one, his status has changed, even if he has had 100 children before. All right. Another one is a plus. That's what gifts does to us, right? Okay. So that means that the birth of every child is a gift to the world. It's a gift to the family. It's a gift to the community. All right. And actually, the life that is coming into that community is meant to take charge of the affairs of the same community. Am I making sense? It is to take charge of the affairs of the community. All right? And that is something that we should think about. Okay? All right. No problem. Great. So now, the reason we as human beings, the reason we are here, the reason we are human beings actually, is that we have a wonderful ability to recreate our world. To recreate in our world in such a way that all things are put in order. All right? This is the way God thinks. When there is a problem, here and there, you would know that no matter the prayers that we pray, no matter how we sigh, how we grieve, God Himself doesn't come down and solve the problem. What He does is He sends the answers to the prayers that we pray in a package. He puts it in a human being and sends it as a gift to the world. And that's what every child comes with. Regardless, hey Gio, how are you doing? Regardless of the challenges, regardless of the situation around the birth of the child, regardless of the abnormalities that a child has, regardless of the disadvantage that we think the child has. Probably some children come with diseases, some children come with deformities, all right? It doesn't matter. What matters is every child, whether it was born blind, born lame, born weak, born with a deficiency syndrome, born with, asthma or whatever it is, whatever kind of disease, it doesn't matter. What matters is the child is coming to take charge of the world. That is the entry, right? Note, every human being we have a limited time. And the time is maximum, maximum probably 80 years, all right? I know some people live further, some people live up to even 100 years, all right? But, aggregate, we have about 80 years, all right? Now, that is to tell us that that human beings don't live here on earth forever, okay? So some people grow up, they grow old, they become weak, and they die. All right? When they become weak and they're about to die, there is a replacement needed. All right? And that is why it's like a continuum. It's like a continuum. Life is moving. All right? So you have a new birth, growing, become an adult, moves, become old, and die. Another one is coming, consecutively. And what that tells us is those who are coming in, they are coming to take charge of what those ones that have left behind. And they are coming to see how they are supposed to recreate the world. Of course, they may take from the knowledge that is available. Of course, they may take from, but they will try and modify it. They try and see how they can make it better. All right? That is why if you look at the world from history, the world is changing. Okay? Now, if you agree with me, whether you are a theologian, whether you are a scientist, whether you are an archaeologist, whether you are a historian, you agree with me that the oldest memory of the earth was a mess. What I mean by a mess, it's not as if it wasn't, God didn't do a good work. When God created the world, He did it was good, all right? But, human beings were living in the wild. Okay? Anyway, there's a beauty in that. There was no sickness then. There was no diseases then. Okay? All right? And we had everything natural. Okay? But, after the advancement of life, we understood that human beings began to live differently because of chaos, because of sin, because of moving, behaving, doing things that were not in the right order. Okay, and since we have that, so many lives were being endangered, and every human being at that time began to look for how to preserve life. Okay, so if you agree with me, we had different in history. We have different times. Okay, so we had the prehistoric times, you know, about human race. Now we had the Neolithic period, all right, which we call the Stone Age, all right. We had the Bronze Age, we had the Iron Age, all right. Now, according to history, history tells us that human beings try to preserve life. Okay, why do I need to go into all this today? It's because of the singular fact that when a child is born, the life that he or she lives is meant to take charge of the earth. To take charge of the earth. So, as I was saying, human beings were being endangered. They became endangered because of the wild. All right, the wild animals, adverse weather, natural disasters, name it. Okay, and the man, of because the man is a living soul, a thinking individual, man began to think, how do we preserve ourselves? How do we, and that's why they ran into the caves. That's why they began to create technologies. The earliest technologies that we see, the technologies, from stone. Okay, they began to use stone to create tools for themselves. They began to think of, okay, how do we cannot continue to live in caves forever, right? How do we look for how to make shelter, and they began to use those kind of tools, some specific kind of stones. I mean, not just not just any kind of stone anyway, some special kind of stones, to make stuff out of wood. All right, so you find several kinds of things being used, all right, to create stuff, all right, and that is to tell us that human beings began to think. They began to use their brains. They began to, see how they can recreate the world. All right, they began to, adapt to the challenges of life. They face several challenges, right? They face adverse situations, adverse weather, all right, but they began to look for sources, means at which they can preserve life, all right, and these tools they made in order to recreate life. These tools, these methods, these technologies they developed. They are the things that they put together to see how they can preserve life. All right. So, and apart from that as well, that is just one area. Okay. How about areas of communication? Some of it, when we're at school, or historians tells us that the earliest form of communication by men was by sign language. Okay, by sign language, and noises. Okay, if we are told, if we believe them. Okay, by sign language, and if because especially when it was, because not everybody understood themselves anyway. All right, those that needed to communicate with other people from other tribes, they used sign languages. all right, because they could not understand them, okay? And apart from that, those who lived in the wild, in order to know which cave was meant for human beings, which cave was meant for wild animals, they did inscriptions. They did inscriptions on the walls of the caves. That is where art began anyway. That's where art began. They did inscriptions on the walls of the caves to show that this cave belongs to human beings and this cave belongs to animals. That is to tell that even from history, man began to take charge of the affairs of this life. Okay, all right. Now, moving down into the Bronze Age, where there was an advancement, of the technology, whereby people began to use, modified, they moved from stone to discovering how to use bronze. Blacksmiths rose up and they began to use bronze, and began to do all sorts of things. All right, so they use different kind of technologies to build their world. Okay, so from the Stone Age to the Bronze Age to the Iron Age. All right, now things began to happen in such a fast way whereby human lives was now something that is really preserved, because there was an advancement of world. There was a civilization that was known, all right, and this civilization helped to do so many things, all right. For instance, people began to learn. Knowledge became something that was really important. I'm sure you must have heard of Mesopotamia, for example. You must have heard of the Greek civilization as well. So civilizations in different parts of the world, in Africa, in Europe, in Asia. If you read all these civilizations, you'll understand that from history, every human being was looking for ways to take charge of the affairs of the earth. And that is what life is all about. Life is about taking charge of the affairs of the earth. You, as a human being, you cannot afford to sit down and do nothing. You have to do something with the life that you live. Life is meant to be lived in order to adapt to the world and to recreate it. First, adapt to the world, to understand what the world is all about, and then to see how we can make it better. That's what life is all about. Life is a gift. And if life is a gift, then this gift that we have should be treasured. This gift that we have should be modified. It should be used well. It should be used to recreate the world. Okay? It should be used to do something great. If I had the opportunity, I would have shown you two beautiful pictures. Okay? I have a picture here, but I'm sorry I cannot show you right now. I've tried to upload it. I think we will have to. We are looking for a means to manage our how we do our broadcast in such a way that we'll be able to do all kind of dynamics. Okay, but I have two pictures. The pictures of China during the Neolithic period. You will see how human beings were living. All right. You will see how the Chinese were living. All right. How they use pottery, for example. How they're making things out of clay. How they were, they're living in a kind of environment that is not that is not like what you can ever think of right now. Okay. And and you know, right now we can see how China is. It has become one of the world superpowers in terms of advanced technology. You know, this 21st century, we see things have really changed greatly well. We see advancement in machines, advancement in computers, advancement. In fact, the World War, you know, there is there is a beauty in even the sad stories. There was a world war, right? World War One, World War Two. Those world wars, they gave birth to advancement of life. You can imagine how human beings, it turned the sad story, how they recreated it in such a way that it can suit the society. You know, where did the computers come from? Is it not from? It's not from tracking codes. It was from tracking codes being used by you know by the Germans, code being used by by the Russians. All right. So, and that's where the computers came from. All right. So what I'm trying to say is, every human being is a gift to the world. We are being packaged, as an answer to a problem in the world. All right. And that is why we cannot afford to allow the challenges that we go through to weigh us down. Yes, we can. We are built with emotions, and the emotions that we have is meant to make us realize what is bad and what is good. But we have a wonderful, beautiful package here called the brain. As soft as it works wonders physically. If you know physically, the brain is soft. All right. In fact, as soft as it, the scientists say you can cut it easily with a plastic bread knife. You understand? Okay. Now, as soft as it is the beauties that the mind is able to 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 do is enormous. It's beautiful. It's great. All right. So every human being has this, whether you are educated or not educated. We have got a brain, a thinking faculty, and the faculty that we have here is meant to redesign, to recreate, to see how the world can become a better place. All right. Let's see what our friends are saying. Oh, I think let me see. Sister June says the gift of life is enjoyed at its best if its natural principles are followed. I believe majority of the challenges we face now are a result of going contrary to the principles we can on the build on them through technology or knowledge, but we mustn't go against them. Yeah, of course. Well, well, some principles, uh, some principles of life have been gone against, and it has given birth to further knowledge. It has given birth to further wisdom. If we don't make mistakes, you know. So, for example, fire. The principle of fire is you don't put your hand through the fire, right? It consumes. But human beings have developed some special garments that you can wear to go through fire without being burnt. So you have broken that principle, right? Okay, you have broken that ideal idea, right? You have, and so some principles cannot be broken, all right? They are ultimate, all right? Uh, but nevertheless, there are some principles that need to be broken for advancement of life, for advancement of technology. Okay? If you are joining us today, please um, help. We welcome you first to the platform. We are talking about life. It's a gift, and we are gaining understanding. We are rubbing shoulders. We are learning from each other. We are trying to understand that the life that we actually live is a gift. And this gift needs to be treasured. This gift needs to be used to recreate the world. Look, we cannot afford to be born into this world and just come and enjoy. If we live that kind of life, we become a waste. We become a waste. In fact, I guess there will be something inside of us that will be crying out because, of course, there will be no satisfaction that we will get to a height of enjoyment that we will be tired of enjoyment, because that is not what we are here for. We are here for a dynamic life. We are here to do something beautiful. We are here to recreate the world. We are here, in fact, if you know why you were born, you will reduce how much of parties you go to. You will reduce how much of events that you go to. You will reduce how much of sleep that you have. You will reduce how much of friends that you keep. All right? You will concentrate. You will focus on the reason why you were created, because usually it is bigger than what we can think of. The reason why we are created, the reason why we are here, is something very great. If we can see the future now, we will keep up. We will begin to run very fast, because you cannot compare it to where we are now. All right? You can't just compare it to where we are now. Okay. Sister Chinwe says, challenges propels us to innovations and finding solutions. That's right. That's right. Life is a gift. And that gift should be used, to recreate the world. Now, another point that we need to make here is this. Life is a gift for creation to continue. Life is a gift for creation to continue. God has done his main work. Now, he has left the continuous work in our hands to do. God made the earth. He made, trees. He made animals. He made all those things. It is our own duty to see what we can use out of those raw materials. It's our duty to see what we can make out of wood, what we can make out of the mineral resources all around us, how we can combine, how we can manipulate, and how we can come to a better creation, a modified creation that we have already. Okay, that is why we have science. That is why science is a beautiful thing. That is why arts is also a beautiful thing. Okay, life is a gift that must be valued. There are different kinds of gifts, even though we have the same giver, all right? And that giver is God. Now, all gifts are buried in this main gift called life, right? Some people, when it comes to, they are bored when you're telling them stories. But when you give them calculations, their brains wake up. They are excited about it. It is because they have a special gift that is inclined to calculations. All right. So that is what we must understand. Everyone is capable of doing something dynamic, no matter how physically weak the person is. All right. Now, the fact that today you are not an inventor doesn't mean that your life is nonsense or is useless. No, it is just an understanding problem. The moment you understand that the life that you have is meant to recreate something beautiful, then you put your mind to work, and then something on the long run, something great will come out of it. Please don't give up on your life. Please value your life. Please understand that the life that you have is something beautiful, is something that you need to use, to make the world a better place. Now, every human being has a percentage of selfishness, okay, which is all right, okay, because if we are not selfish, we cannot take care of ourselves. We understand? For example, if you are taking care of other people and you don't take care of yourself, you will die, okay? And every human being has that instinct in us to preserve ourselves. So we are selfish, in quotes, all right? But the selfishness at which every human being has must have a limit. There must be a higher percentage of generosity in terms of thinking, how can I make the world around me a better place? All right. So you are thinking for yourself, you are thinking for others. By the time you carry this mindset, you have become a leader. You have become a leader because you are solving problems, because you are changing the world around you. You are bringing solutions to the challenges that you are facing, and solutions that is needed by other people as well. You have become a leader as well. So life must be valued. If you are watching me right now and you are thinking of killing yourself, please stop. You are the answer to somebody else's problem. Somebody is waiting for you to just say something to them and they will be okay. Somebody is waiting for you to just touch them and they will feel all right. Somebody is waiting for you to give that small bit that you know, that small bit that you can do, and their lives become a better place. Somebody is waiting for that knowledge, that special skill that you have. Somebody is waiting for, somebody just wants to see you and they are happy. Have you experienced that? Some people just look at you and say, seeing you just makes me happy. That is how it is, really. What if you die? What if you give up on your life? What if you kill yourself in whatever form, whatever way? What will happen to the other person as well? The person also may die as well. That's why I said each and every one of us is a gift to the world. So the life that we have is something precious, is something beautiful. In fact, you only need to discover yourself. You'll be swept at your feet. You'll be wow, that, oh, so I am worth this. So there is a value I have with this life I am living. Okay? Don't give up. I can remember some years back, I was on the verge of giving up. I mean, I know I was a believer, I know I was a Christian, I know I believed in God, but nothing was just working. Nothing was just happening. Life was meaningless to me. There was a particular day I stepped into the garden of believers, what we call church, and one of the sisters there he asked me, "What's going on? Tell me, what's happening to you? I have never seen you this way before, and this and that, I said, I'm tired of life. I'm tired of life, And I thank God for people who surrounded me and who encouraged me, who challenged me, who put the reason to smile back into me, and it gave me some comfort. I thank God for those people today. Maybe I may not be here to tell you all this, all right? And that's why I'm sharing this as well with you. Life is important. Give it your best shot. Do all the best that you can. Your best is just all that somebody needs to make their lives better. Your best is all just somebody needs to make their lives better. Okay, now there's something I need to quickly share with you. The question is, many people today, they are not thinking this way. We have a problem. They are not looking at their lives as something they need to value. They're not looking at their lives as a source of recreation. They're not looking at their lives as, as a gift to the world, because they are not being curious enough. They're not being curious enough. All right. Curiosity is what leads us to live life differently. Curiosity. Anybody can become an inventor. Anybody can become a world changer. It begins with a scrutinizing question. Why? Why? How many of us has asked this question? Why is things like this? Why are we living a life like this? Why is the government like this? Why is society like this? Why is our culture behaving this way? Is this the normal way of doing things? Is this not abnormal? In history, people have asked the question why, and that led them to prominence. Take, for example, Mahatma Gandhi, India's hero. in his mind, it was the question of freedom. We are also a great people, India. Why can't we rule ourselves? Why must it be the British that must be ruling over us? It was the question of freedom. In Mother Teresa, in her mind, it was the question of why should there be hopelessness in the world? Why should the poor and the destitute be allowed to be living without care? And that's what gave her to prominence. Why? In the mind of Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison, it was a question about darkness. Why should we continue to live with candles? Why can't we go to watch a theater that is lit with bright light, fluorescent light? And they got to work. The question, and that question led them to prominence. Alexander Graham Bell, it was a question on how to speak with his beautiful wife at the far end without traveling to where she was. And he discovered the telephone. Charles Darwin, the great scientist, he in quotes turned away from God, Christian religion, and he turned to God. What do I mean? Charles Darwin is the one who we know that argues that that God did not create the world, that life began from different levels. For example, from Pisces to aves to amphibians to reptiles to what's it called? To mammals. Okay? But he turned away from them and he faced science. And he turned away from the source of life and he met life by going back to the creation of God. You cannot lose, there's no way any human being can lose touch of God. We can deny God. We can deny God's existence, but we cannot deny the life that God has given to us. We can't. We cannot deny. We cannot. If you deny God, then you are denying your life. All right. It is not possible. So Charles Darwin turned away from God and he ran away from God and he ran to God. He met God in science because he discovered what God has done. All right. Now, Leonardo da Vinci, one of the fathers of Renaissance, the question in his mind was how to become intellectually, creatively, and emotionally well-rounded. It is he who said, I woke only to find out that the rest of the world was still asleep. Leonardo da Vinci, he is the one who was sound when it comes to science, sound in arts, in architecture, sound in politics. He is a well-rounded man. A very practical, good example of a Renaissance man. All right? Every human being can be like this. We can be sound in every area that we find ourselves. We can go into different spheres of life and recreate our world. That's why life is a gift. That's why life is a gift. Question is, what is in your mind? What is in my mind? How far we can go with this gift of life depends on how curious we are to making our lives better. How curious are we to making the world a better place? How curious are we to modifying this gift called life? Life is a gift that must be invested in. I want to leave you with that last statement. Life is a gift that must be lived, that must be invested in. If we don't invest in life, we can never get its full benefits. And how do we invest in life? We invest in life by looking for knowledge. The knowledge that is able to bring transformation to our lives. I'm one of the people that says that the education system is not as productive as it should be, but nevertheless, it is still a starting point of generating knowledge or getting knowledge. Go to school, go and study, look for opportunities for scholarships. They are all out there. You just need to look for them. If you do not have internet, look for other means at which you can learn. There are libraries in your community. When you come online, if you find internet, don't be looking for how you can call your brother out there. Don't be looking for how you can say hello to somebody out there. Think of what you can learn from Google. There are so many courses that are free on different websites. Go to Coursera, for example. And different courses you can learn for free. There are so many other courses that we can learn for free. Too many free websites where you can get information for free. We must invest in life. We must invest in education. We must invest. What we invest in is what we get back in the future. How curious we get is dependent. How better our lives become is dependent on how curious we get. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. I know that we have benefited from this knowledge. My beautiful wife says, curiosity makes us live life differently. Why is our nation like this? Why is our culture like this? Why are our youths behaving like this? Why are we still using candles, etc.? That's what makes our life different. Thank you. That's a beautiful one from my beautiful wife. Yes, let's see what our friends are saying. Sister Chinwe says, we must all begin to value our lives because a gift is hidden in us as a source of pleasure to others. Only when we appreciate those latent gifts, develop it and use it, can we become deliverers and make impact in our world. Thank you, Sister Chinwe. That's another very, very interesting thing that you have written. Thank you, Sister June. She says, thank you so much. It is awakening. Thank you also for making that comment. That gives me encouragement that we should continue to do something like this so that we can encourage people, to wake up, to understand that the life that they have is a gift that should be valued, treasured, cared for, nurtured, and invested in, and so that the world can become a better place. My wife says, when you have this mindset, you then become a leader because you are using your life to solve problems. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Please value your life and use it as a gift to the world. That's another one. All gifts are bearing the main gift called life. Yes, yes, yes. Life is a gift for creation to continue. Everything around us is a raw material. Wow, 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 wow. Thank you, my lovely wife. Everything around us is a raw material. Wow, that's beautiful. Can we believe that? Everything around us is a raw material. The air we breathe is a raw material. The clothes we wear is a raw material. Even though it looks like a finished product, right? But it is still a raw material. Can you imagine? Everything around us is a raw material. Great, great. A raw material that somebody can think and rethink. How can I make this better? How can I use this to do something else? How can I recycle this to make it much more beneficial? It's a raw material. Wow. Thanks, Queen. Okay. Do you have any other thing that our friends are sharing? Oh, it was Sachinwe that said thank you so much. It is awakening. Sorry, that it was I mistook that. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here again. I thank my wife for giving me this opportunity to share on this platform. I thank everybody for joining us today, and I'm sure she'll be here next week, fully loaded. You wait and see. Thank you so much for everything, for your time. Stay blessed. Bye for now.